What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nintendo Land. Well, there might be something very interesting coming to Nintendo Switch, whether it's via Switch Online or maybe even Switch 2, but there's a chance that we could be seeing DS games coming to the console. Now, I know a lot of people are still waiting for like GameCube games and maybe even eventually Wii games in the future would be really cool, but it looks like DS might actually be in the lineup as well. Now, this is not anything new for Nintendo. In fact, the Wii U actually had DS games on its virtual console there, which is pretty cool, but there's a big difference between the Switch and the Wii U, where the Wii U had a dedicated gamepad where you could play games, with both screens on at once. You can't do that with the Switch, which definitely does impact the potential of having DS games. And I think a lot of people thought that this never was going to happen. Well, this is coming from my good friend over at Mike Odyssey on Twitter. He noticed a trademark for DS and also 3 Zelda trademarks, and we'll talk about those Zelda ones in a second. But let's focus on the Nintendo DS one right now. Trademark is live with its status, and for goods and services, it states arcade video game machines, controllers. Now, this definitely sounds like virtual console just by listening to that description. Now, I will say right now, we can't always just jump to a conclusion and say all trademarks are leading to games coming out. There are many times in the past where we've gotten trademarks and nothing's ever come out of it. These are just ways for Nintendo to update their properties and stuff, so this could mean something, but it definitely could mean nothing. But it is very weird to see a trademark for Nintendo DS nevertheless. This one definitely is a weird one. Like I said, this has been done before on the Wii U and was a really cool way to keep all the DS games, onto a modern hardware. And of course, with the Wii U gamepad, this made things extremely easy. There were tons of different layouts. You could have the gamepad as the bottom screen or the top screen with the TV as the bottom or top screen. You could have a little picture of a DS on the screen and you could play off of that. There were tons of options to mess around with, and I feel like that's still a possibility that the Nintendo Switch could do. But like I said, there are tons of different formats that could work with just one screen, and there's some that actually do this on the Wii U right now. You have an option to have one of the screens bigger and the other screen very small, which works for a DS game because a lot of the time, most of the action takes place on one screen, whether it's the top or the bottom, where you don't really need the other one that much outside of some extra little things like looking above certain characters or seeing what's going on above you. Or lots of the time, the top screen could be the main screen, with the bottom screen being things like settings and just information, like in Kirby Squeak Squad, where the whole point of the bottom screen is just to give Kirby a power-up. Another one I talked about already is literally just having a virtual DS, which is also an option right now, which is just a DS on the screen, which definitely works. The screen itself isn't as big, so you might have to like squint to see everything or get really close, but it definitely is an option that works. Simply just having both screens visible would work as well. Just putting 2 boxes side by side, left and right, and that way maybe you can even move which one's which. If you want the top screen to be on the left or the top screen to be on the right, you can do that. But there's definitely options for the screens. But the problem comes in how do you have tap controls? Maybe if you're wanting to play a game that has touch controls, maybe they just say, you know what, you have to undock it. If you're playing one of those type of games, you have to play in handheld mode because the Nintendo Switch does have touch support. So that's definitely something that could happen. Or if you're playing on TV, maybe you can use like IR pointer. There's lots of games that actually do this where you can aim a Joy-Con and like tap something on the screen. There's a lot of DS games that don't even require you to use the touchscreen, so I'm sure there's ways that they could work around this if they really wanted to make this work. Another big issue I think people could bring up is the fact that there's no microphone, and there are some games that require you to blow in the mic. I remember having an emulator, and one of the biggest issues for me was just that. Just about a year ago, I was playing Spirit Tracks, and I got to the part where you actually have to play music through the flute, and unfortunately, there's no mic on a cell phone, on an emulator nevertheless, so I actually had to press a dedicated button that would act as me blowing into the mic. So maybe there's some type of workaround like that where there's some type of button that you can push and it will act as if you're blowing into a mic. So I think there's, once again, definitely ways to work around some of the issues, but I still think it'd be worth it to get DS games on the Switch. Now, I've seen some people already making mock-ups of what maybe the Switch 2 could do. Maybe this is a thing for Switch 2 where you could actually turn the, whole unit sideways in handheld mode and actually attach Joy-Con that way. that would be pretty cool. Then you could actually have big top and bottom screens. I think that would actually be amazing. It would probably be the best way to play something like this. And also, who knows? What if the next Nintendo Switch actually has 2 screens? I remember there was rumors going on a long time ago suggesting that it might, kind of similar to a DS. So that would be just awesome. And that's something that'd probably come day one with Switch 2 and be a big reason why people would want to play Switch 2. What if 3DS games were capable with that too? Man, that would be a pretty amazing console. Now, you guys probably know I don't care for Switch Online. I think, Virtual Console was so much better. I like to actually own the games. But still, if they are going to continue forward with the Switch Online stuff, which I would expect them to kind of do so with the next console, since it is just a new iteration, it looks like, of Switch, I would love to see DS games eventually make the cut. Because there's a lot that we can't even get our hands on nowadays because there's so many old games on these lists, and lots of them are being resold for some very high prices right now. So this would be a great way to cut that price down. But unfortunately, I feel like if any console is coming next, it would just kind of have to be GameCube. I feel like that just makes the most sense, and it's probably a lot easier than trying to get DS games on the Switch, where all you need is one screen. I will say it does maybe seem a lot less likely for GameCube nowadays, because Nintendo seems to be remaking classic GameCube games like Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door, and Metroid Prime, and probably more coming as well, because there's been rumors like F-Zero GX was going to get a remaster or a remake as well. So who knows, maybe DS is more likely than GameCube nowadays. But let's talk about those other 2 trademarks before we head out today. The other 3 trademarks seem to be related to Zelda games or merchandise, as this one shows games, namely promotional game cards, jigsaw puzzles, etc. So probably lots of just, merchandise and stuff Zelda related. Next one seems to be related to Toon Link, where it says clothing, namely polo shirts, sweatshirts, parkas, jackets. Yes, this one seems just to be clothing with Toon Link associated with it. The last one is Twilight Princess Link, which also says clothing, namely polo shirts, sweatshirts, parkas, and jackets. So it seems to be lots of clothing and merchandise for all of these Zelda related things. But why Twilight Princess Link and Toon Link? Well, of course, a lot of people think it could be related to none other than Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. Now, personally, I cannot believe these games haven't happened yet, but we know that Nintendo normally gives us something Zelda related once a year. And we've been getting Zelda games every year, so there really hasn't been a need for these games yet, with last year being Tears of the Kingdom and Echoes of Wisdom being this year. Now, the only year we didn't get anything Zelda related at all was 2022, and it felt like the perfect year to get something, and we didn't, unfortunately. So I don't know why they didn't do it that year. So yeah, I guess now is a perfect time, because I'm sure it's going to be a while before the next Zelda game, at least mainline. With us getting a new 2D Zelda this year, I'm kind of expecting there to be something Zelda related, especially if next year is year 1 of this Switch 2 console. This would be a perfect way to get something Zelda on the console early, with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Now, I've played Wind Waker about 7 times all the way through, and Twilight Princess, unfortunately, only 1 time. I really want to play it again, and I want to play it on the Switch. I just have this feeling that as soon as I play it, they're going to announce it at the following Nintendo Direct. So I'm still holding out, and I hold out almost every single Nintendo Direct, because I feel like this is just one of those things that's inevitable. So I do 100% believe this is happening. It's just a matter of when is Nintendo going to give it to us. And if I was a betting man, I'd probably say it's either 2025 or at least 2026. Please, Nintendo. But let me know in the comments down below what you think of these trademarks. Do you think we're going to be getting DS Virtual Console? Do you think that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are coming very soon? Definitely let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.